Hello and welcome to Hooting Mandrills. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Sam, and today we'll be discussing the latest drama around Cori-Steel in Standard, the discourse around it. We're about a week late to the party, but, that's how it is.
It'll probably be 2 weeks by the time we actually post this. But anyway, who cares? Yeah, so essentially everybody is tilted that Cori-Steel is still allowed to be in Standard and wasn't emergency banned.
And they're extra tilted because Jim Davis, someone whose content Jeremy and I are both quite fond of, if you're listening to this at all, you probably know me from Jim's Discord, said that people were being lazy because they wanted Steel Cutter banned like 2 weeks into the format.
A lot of the reaction is also kind of taking
Goofy.
it out of context. Yeah, it is kind of goofy because instead of like people actually figuring out whether there is any way to beat Cori-Steel, everybody jumps on the ban thing. And people were just saying how they should ban Up the Beanstalk in Standard, and now it's completely unplayed. Monstrous Rage is obviously still highly played, and some people are saying it should be Monstrous Rage that gets banned still instead of Cori Cutter. But I really am, spoiler alert for this, I don't think that Standard needs any bans. But
yeah, I also heard a lot of the discourse, everyone like us wants in on the latest bit of drama for clicks and follows and whatnot. So a lot of people who mostly play other older formats are comparing the ban discourse around Cutter to Modern and Legacy, which have been unhealthy and basically a full ban cycle behind since MH3 came out, if not longer in the case of Legacy. But, Cori-Steel came out a month ago in Standard. The narrow ban window in Standard makes a lot more sense than it does, I think, for older formats because, Standard changes faster, naturally.
Incredibly fast, realistically. You have to be playing to the metagame all the time in Standard because one tournament in everybody's deck is completely different. Yes, Cori-Steel is a powerful card and it can feel really demoralizing to lose to it. I think that if this was a mid-range card that was dominating, people would not say anything. People are upset because aggro is perceived to be easy to play, even though I don't think that the Izzet deck is easy to play well.
That was another thing that was in the commentary that got a lot of people mad, is that part of the reason why people are gravitating toward the Cutter deck is because it has a lot of small decisions and good players like playing it. It's sort of like the bell curve meme. The people who like turning cards sideways and, cast a spell, kill you, gravitate towards it, or people who aren't necessarily bad players, we were talking about regional championships here, but who maybe aren't as dialed in on Standard will go towards it because it's the best deck. It's relatively straightforward to pick up and start playing, and then once you have a few reps, it has a lot of micro decisions that can reward you for being a good player.
Right. So, if this is this is just anyone could play this deck and win, it's not that situation in my opinion, and nobody is actually winning with this deck either. None of these SCG, any of these things, have been won by this deck. It's not like Nadu, it's not like Breach, where it was winning every single tournament. So, whatever people are doing are working to some degree. It's not, I don't know, I haven't, actually studied the top 8s and seen what percentage is this, but 30% of the people are playing this deck every tournament and still not winning it. So, if it was actually so busted, people would be winning these tournaments, right? That's not a crazy take for me to have, I don't think. But
yeah, its conversion rate is pretty normal. People are going after it, but it's maybe doing a little better than you would expect a deck with that much of a target on its back to do, but it's not doing so well that it's not being contained the way that Breach and Nadu in Modern were not contained. I think Cori-Steel is a fun card. It does have a little bit, for me, the whiff of Ajani, where it's very hard hard to answer one for one cleanly, and that feels bad. But like Ajani Nakatl Praya, but people who like Standard and aren't desensitized to, you're like, all right, Ajani trigger on the stack, I guess I'll push it now, because if I let you get the cat and you have Galv Discharge, I get blown out even more, so you still have a cat left over. It's a 2-for-1. Good gameplay. You know, I get that with Cutter, and like even if you have the Abrade right away, like if they had a trigger, they have a Monk, and creature removal is just terrible against it. But I don't think this card's out of bounds either. And I hope they don't come to the conclusion that it's out of bounds, because I like cards like this that are interesting for older formats being able to come through Standard without breaking things too badly.
Yes, this has nothing to do with Corey Cutter, but like we'll do a recap of Final Fantasy, but the cards are quite weak in comparison to the Standard level of play even. I can't imagine many of these cards are breaking through to historic and older formats as well. But I don't know. I am a brewer. I do kind of think you guys have been lazy, to be honest. And like this is going to make me sound like an asshole, but it's like, all right, what are you going to try? More Pixie variants, more Oculus variants? What else are you willing to try? You haven't played. Their Standard is huge, and you guys have tried nothing, in my opinion. Like
tried nothing, and you're out of ideas.
You're out of ideas, and you've tried nothing. Like I haven't seen. Like I'm playing Finn the Fangbearer green black right now with Bilious Skull Dweller, Venerated Rot Priest, Infectious Bite. You know, like it's kind of it's a pretty interesting deck. But I play cards like Dragon Sniper. Nobody's trying to play Dragon Sniper. Dragon Sniper is insane against these red decks, and it's even still pretty good against the Izzet deck too. So I don't know. Like if you ban this card, I think you also should ban Beza. I think you should ban Nowhere to Run. I think you should ban, you know, This Town. Like, and maybe Beans too. Like, let's just take a card from every color. Like, it doesn't make sense to ban this card, I don't think. I get how you're demoralized, but none of you have tried anything. Like, even the brewers I see on the internet have tried like one thing. Oh, I tried Collector's Cage, or I tried...
People are trying stuff, but it like main deck Magebane Lizard, a lot more high noons than you've seen before.
Yeah, and like
authorities.
Last month I was playing Bant Battlefront to play a lot of hate pieces towards this deck. Then people started main decking Abrade to fight back against the Cutter, and that makes your synthesizer deck less appealing. But I just like, people are trying the exact same things and then being like, why is no, there's so many cards in Standard, and yes, like Duskmourn has a lot of powerful cards, Bloomburrow has a lot of powerful cards, but nobody's looking anywhere else. So I don't know. I am still being a dick, but like you guys are a little lazy and your brews are kind of shit.
Also, like, you know, if prowess really were just a clear best thing to be doing, Jeremy would have been one of the people who got convinced by that.
I probably should be, but I bought the deck on Arena, obviously. I've played it a little bit.
Jeremy plays a lot of prowess.
I do like prowess.
Jeremy plays a lot of prowess. The only slivers that are legal in Standard are Tari and Mauler, 3-tree Mascot. There is a Coco variant, I guess, but...
Which I was playing.
But there are not a lot of things on the list of stuff that Jeremy would be on ahead of prowess that's actually available to him. So if he thinks he can beat Cutter doing something else,
the prowess mirrors
you can
are
probably
boring,
beat Cutter
yeah.
doing something else.
I can kind of see how people are upset just beating their head against the wall, Cutter versus Cutter, Cutter versus Cutter every match. That's a little bit monotonous, but at the same time, the Mythic Ladder is not really like that. I don't know, I think I played 5 games today and saw 5 matches, and like, I have a pretty good matchup. If they draw 3 Cutters, and I'm not talking about after many stock ups and stuff, I'm talking about like, they actually need 3 Cutters.
If turns 3, 4, and 5
are all
Cutter,
yeah, then I can't beat it, okay? There's really very little I can do. But I think I actually did beat 3 Cutters the other day with Rot Priests. But yeah, I mean, what is the card even in my deck? Is it called Nature's Rhythm?
The Green Suns variant?
Yeah.
Or I guess Finale of Devastation variant, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I should know. I just look at the pictures. I don't actually read the cards, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that card is insane too. Like, nobody's playing this card. Fetching a Rot Priest for 3, insane. Fetching a Finn the Fangbearer for 4, insane. Playing 8 copies of Finn the Fangbearer is actually a pretty good strategy. Back when there were 12 kill spells in Standard decks, every single one of them, I thought that was kind of toxic, you know, like that's kind of irritating when you can't play a creature deck. Oh, we're just going to mid-range mirror until the end of time. That's the only thing we let in standard. You know, like, is that fun? I guess that's
fun for me.
That's what you guys
I love
like,
Fable standard, but
no, I mean, I love Fable of the Mirror Breaker, but like,
no, I get what you're saying. That removal's kind of bad now, and maybe you can
play Finn the Fangbearer.
You can swerve back into things that are bad against all that removal, and yeah, that's kind of
like,
cool. That's
also,
what you
like,
want in a metagame.
Temporary lockdown isn't very good against me either, because I can, you know, Heritage Reclamation.
Green
I can
deck that plays that can play as many disenchants as you want.
I can even fetch the insect, the Haywire Might to blow it up. That's a little slow, and I don't love it, but I do main deck one Haywire Might.
I mean, if your 4-mana Finn / 3-mana Rot Priest is also a 4-mana disenchant, that's not that bad. There's a reason why people play Green Sun Zenith in Modern, folks, other than that it just got unbanned. There's a reason why they were playing it in Legacy while it was banned in Modern.
But I've not seen a single deck try this card. I'm the only person playing this card in all of Magic anywhere. But, you know, that's not true, but like, it's close. I've literally not seen a single person try to play this card. I get it. Yeah, I don't want to pay 6 mana for a 4-drop, but that's not what this card is for. It's for paying 4 mana for a 2-drop or 3 mana for a 1-drop. I don't know. I get irritated when I lose to Cutter too. I don't know how you wouldn't, but I guess I was preemptive when we talked about banning High Tide and Pauper. Maybe there's enough hand disruption with Duress and stuff that it's not completely going to take over. I still think that maybe we should just ban it anyway, but that's kind of a different thing than Cori-Steel Cutter. That deck is actually pretty unfun to play against. I think that just because you can't Beanstalk Overlord anymore, you think that the game is unfun. I don't know. Like, I just don't get it. I guess people are gonna complain and always say, and like, as soon as they ban Cori-Steel Cutter, we're just gonna get back to the we need to ban Monstrous Rage. You know, like, if we don't want aggro to be a thing at all and we all just want to mid-range forever, then that's fine. But I don't think that that's good for new players. I don't think that that's good for people who just enjoy that style of gameplay. I would say that more control players lose to my Finn deck playing misplays than the Cori-Steel players even. Like, I don't know.
I would expect Infect to be pretty good against control and maybe even a little soft. I guess you're good against like the traditional red, but like,
no, I'm very good against traditional red.
Like, it makes sense that you would have reasonable matchups here. You're built around a 3 toughness creature in a format where they play shocks. So
yeah, I think people are a little delusional when it comes to some of their control decks, and that's why they're so upset. Like, you can't main deck 3 Day of Judgments and be good against Cori Cutter. It has to be, you know, temporary lockdown, which is way worse against me. And like, I would appreciate a heroic intervention printed into standard in green, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, so we think standard's good.
I'm having fun with standard. Fine. Yeah,
this is from a standard grinder. And I think another thing that is like worth pointing out here is that the people who are most clamorous for bans are not necessarily the people who are trying to solve the Cutter meta in the regional championships. They're spikes, they're grinders, they're doing what they think
mid-range decks. Yeah, they just want to grind on mid-range decks.
I don't think these people are the people who are whining that much about the meta. I think those people are a particular category of very standard specific content creators and the audience they represent that plays a lot of standard, doesn't play a lot of other formats, is always going to hate whatever the best deck in standard is because you're just playing a ton against it on Arena. And I'm losing this train of thought, but you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's people who just want to make new brews every week for content, or every day rather, 5 days a week usually for content, and then they're
the people
upset
who
that they keep getting
content.
beat by Cori Cutter because their brews aren't actually thinking about how to beat Cori Cutter. And if they are, they're thinking about it in the wrong way. Like, I think Magebane Lizard is a decent idea to beat Cori Cutter. I think
it worked.
I think that, I mean, High Noon, every time I resolved a High Noon, I beat Cori Cutter. The problem is, like, every other deck in the meta, you know, like, you can't ever beat a mid-range deck with your main deck High Noons, right? Like, you're just gonna get beat up. But yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm okay with people complaining. We're complaining right now about the opposite, so it's fine.
In conclusion, standard flourishing, Cutter, cool.
And if you lose to Monstrous Rage, just get over it. That's kind of my opinion. Like, you're gonna lose to aggro sometimes, and is it the most fun to get beat by a leyline aggro deck? No. But at the same time, is it fun fun that I can no longer have hexproof allowed to exist? Is it fun that like my entire hand is gone to the pixie deck? Is that fun? Like Magic is about being unfun to your opponent. That's the whole point of the game.
It is in fact zero sum. It is sort of mathematically about making your opponent have less fun on some level.
Which is why the like, are you having fun thing is so funny. And because it's like, I just had one land and I lost. No, I'm not having fun playing no lands. Like, but am I having fun overall playing Magic? Yes. Like, am I having fun right this second as you just gave me no lands or as you gave me 50 lands? No. But like, that doesn't mean that the game isn't fun and that like, I don't know. I can't really speak on other formats, but Standard is fun for me. So in conclusion, I'm the only one who matters. No, but anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Tell us how we should ban Corey Cutter in the comments. Peace.